That heart-stopping moment when your phone is hurtling towards the ever closer ground, threatening to shatter into millions of pieces. But also that glow of pride when someone compliments, "Hey, that's a really cool phone case. But can you even fit it in your pocket?" We've all been there. In that crossroads of choosing between showcasing our phone's natural, professionally designed beauty or cocooning it in a cheap, plastic, protective prison. Let's take a deep dive beyond the surface into the world of phone cases. Together, we'll unravel the intricate dance between protection and personal expression, and the heartfelt choice that shape our tech's destiny. All right, that was a little cheesy. All right, so I polled a bunch of people on Twitter. Well, it was still called Twitter at the time, as well as on YouTube. And an overwhelming majority of people responded that they're still using cases on their phones for protection, extra usability, and even for an aesthetic bonus. Should everybody be using a case on their phone? Or has the case manufacturing industry sold us lies that run deeper than that box of extra cables in the corner that just keeps going and going? You all know you have one. I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of using a case on your phone, mostly because I myself can't decide which one I like better. Do I like my phone naked, the way that it was designed to be? Or do I like it better with a case, even though it might feel a little bit plasticky and cheap? Let's talk about it. Here are some of the pros that you gave me for using a phone case. First and foremost, very easy protection. This safeguards your phone in case you drop it from scratches, from dings, from dents, even sometimes water and dust, depending on the case, depending on how much you pay for it, and depending on how much you want to trust it with something like that. Another big one is the aesthetic and personalization. You can get a case in any color you want. You can find different styles, patterns, textures, feels, all of this different stuff. While some phones do come in different colors, I've argued many times already that phones are not made in the same way that they used to be, and they definitely are boring today. Another reason I've heard people want to use cases is for that extra functionality. Whether your phone case has its own kickstand, a card holder, battery packs, or even just if it's for a little bit of extra grip around the edges, sometimes those extra features and that extra usability make that case worth having. And then, of course, a lot of people's reasoning for having a case on there is not only for the protection, but the lasting effects of that protection. When you go now to resell this phone, knowing that it's going to look good, it's going to be safe, and it's going to be protected to be able to resell later, get more value for your phone in the long run. Now, those are some pretty compelling reasons to use a case. And like I said, a very large majority of you said that you still use cases. But let me talk to you a little bit about some of the negatives around using a case and why I think that some people should not be using cases anymore. First, let's talk about the design and feel of our phones. Most of these phones manufactured today are very high quality, very premium, using materials like glass and aluminum. A lot of phones today that if they are using a plastic, it has some sort of texture to it. It isn't the cheapest plastic you can find. That natural feel and design that designers and engineers spent months and months perfecting is something that shouldn't be taken for granted. And sometimes by putting a plastic cheap case on it, you're just missing out on a lot of the beauty of that phone. Now let's talk about bulk and weight and extra that you just don't need. In previous jobs, I was always carrying around two phones, a personal and a work phone, maybe even another one if I wanted two personal phones. The extra added bulk and weight of cases made putting all of those phones into one pocket just unbearable. Knowing that I might have to carry around a bag just for my phones was never fun. On top of being bulky and plasticky, a lot of these cases don't have proper access to the buttons and ports. Have you ever gotten a new case and it's just that much harder to push a button on the side of the phone? Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of cases do get this right, but hopefully you get one of those cases, because otherwise you're going to have a terrible time turning the volume up and down, pushing the power button, or even trying to fit your different cables, charging cables into your phone if that port is being blocked. Let's also not forget about the hidden cost of cases. While you may be foregoing an extra screen repair or two, the cost of cases can skyrocket depending on the brand and the materials used and the quality of that case. It's not uncommon to see a $40, $50, $60 case for some of these high-end cases. And is this the only case that you're going to buy over the lifespan of your phone? I definitely know people that have multiple cases. The flip side of that coin is these cases can never be reused for a new phone. They're going to be thrown in the garbage as soon as this phone becomes obsolete. A phone is something that could be passed on to other people, to kids, and be refurbished to anybody else. Once that iPhone 7 is no longer in use, that case is garbage. Are you also a person that likes to use wireless charging, things like NFC? Make sure you buy the right case, otherwise you won't be able to use that type of functionality that's built into your phone. Speaking of missing functionality on your phone, make sure that you don't miss out on keeping your phone safe still. A lot of these cases, especially I see the higher end ones, the leather cases, some of these don't provide as much protection as you think. With as big as these screens have been becoming on our phones, the case doesn't always cover the screen. If you drop it flat or onto a corner, that screen is probably still cracking. And not to mention, if that case is so thin that it doesn't protect a corner from a fall, you're just going to be wasting your money. Now, I completely understand that different people have different opinions, have different habits, and use their phone differently. If you have a job where you're outside working all day, manual labor, things happen. Your phone falls out of your pocket, and during those times, you'll probably want to have a case on your phone. But I treat my phone just like I would treat my work boots or my work clothes. At the end of the day, when I get home, I'm taking them off as quick as I can so that I can relax and use my phone the way it was meant to be designed. I, for one, am choosing to currently use my phone without a case. As audacious as it might sound to some, my reasons are pretty deeply personal. For me, the phone in its bare form, the way that it was designed, I cherish the tactile experience of its original materials, and I appreciate the sleekness, the contours, and the unadulterated form that these engineers envisioned. Your phone is an extension of yourself. It tells stories, it captures memories, and keeps us connected in this digital age. Whether it's the pristine beauty of a nude phone in its natural habitat, or the safeguarded assurance of a cased one, remember that your phone is your style and your choice. Protect it, personalize it, but most importantly, make sure that you're enjoying it. If you're interested in this phone that I've been waving around the whole time, I am currently using the Nothing Phone 1 still. The Nothing Phone 2 has been released, but I made a whole video on whether or not I think that the Nothing Phone is still worth it in 2023. Make sure you check out that video next if you're interested. I am absolutely loving this phone. We'll see you in the next one.